Welcome back to Project 613. Today's mitzvah pertains to a bet din, to a Jewish court. It is forbidden for a bet din to administer punishment on the Shabbat, and in the time when there was a Sanhedrin, that would include capital punishment. It would be forbidden for the Sanhedrin to administer capital punishment on the Shabbat, and for that matter, it is forbidden for a bet din to hold any court proceedings on the Shabbat. Where do we know this from? We know this from a verse that says, Lo tvaru esh b'chol moshvatechem b'yom HaShabbat. You shall not burn fire in your dwelling places on Shabbat. Now our sages say as follows, don't we already know that it's forbidden for us to light fire on Shabbat? We have already learned that there are 39 types of forbidden work, which we know from a different verse, where the verse says, Lo ta'aseh kol malacha, you shall not perform any work. And that verse already includes the prohibition of kindling a fire. So what would this verse be a reference to, where the Torah is repeating again that we shall not burn fire on Shabbat? Rather, this is a reference to the court, to the bet din, who one of the methods of capital punishment can involve fire, and this is telling the court that it is forbidden for them to administer this punishment on Shabbat. And by extension, it is forbidden for them to administer any punishments on Shabbat. And not only that, but it is forbidden for the court to hold any court proceedings on Shabbat. And this is all learned from this verse, which seems to be superfluous after we already know that it would be forbidden to kindle a fire on Shabbat. Many of the commentaries explain that the reason why court proceedings are forbidden on Shabbat and that administering punishment is forbidden on Shabbat is because this is the Torah showing kindness even to an individual who is guilty of a punishment, and even to an individual who the next day will receive his punishment. But Shabbat is God's day of rest and God's day of pleasure, and a day that he wants all of his people to share in that rest and to share in that pleasure of Shabbat, and therefore even the worst criminals should also get to celebrate Shabbat appropriately. And it's for that reason that we would not administer punishment on Shabbat. We also learn from this idea of not kindling fire on Shabbat, how it actually refers to court proceedings, where in court proceedings there are usually heated arguments. That in fact, this is a broader reference to the effort that we should put in to avoid any sort of machloket on Shabbat. Any sort of heated argument should not take place on Shabbat, because Shabbat is a day of rest, and such behavior is not appropriate for the spirit of Shabbat. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.